What's up, guys? Charles Damiano back from the Bruce Lee collection. Today we're going to do something a little different in this episode. Today this episode is all about thanking you guys because we're celebrating today. As you can see from where I'm sitting, I'm in Marin County just outside of San Francisco, and I'm sitting on my patio, and I thought I'd take this episode outdoors because today we're celebrating. We just hit 1,000 subs on the Bruce Lee collection channel, and I owe it all to you guys, the fans, the supporters and collectors of this show. And today we're going to do two things on this show. First, I'm going to take the time to thank all of you guys, especially those who were featured on the show and who were kind enough to share their collections and collectibles with us over the last year and a half to get us to these 1,000 subscribers. And then secondly, we're going to talk about what we have next for the Bruce Lee channel. What will year 2 look like? And in year 2, we have a lot of fun, exciting things coming up. So let's start right now and get right into it. So first off, I want to start by shouting out and thanking the collectors who were featured on this show, starting with my good friend and buddy Hector Martinez out of New York City. And for those of you who've seen Hector's collection, it's simply amazing. And Hector's been a friend of mine for over 25 years now, and he is a great supporter of this show, and I owe a lot to him. Hector actually was featured on the first episode that we did a full interview, and he was kind enough to share his collection with us, talk about how Bruce Lee inspired him, brought us into his home to show us his beautiful Bruce Lee gallery. And I've probably featured Hector on this show more than any other collector, because every time I go over his house, he ingratiates me in, he welcomes me to his home, and he shares his beautiful Bruce Lee gallery with us, the fans, myself, and he continues to impress us with the depth of his collection, and I know he will continue to do so in year 2. So Hector, shout out to you, man, and thank you so much. The second person I want to give a shout out to is Richard Torres. Now, Hector introduced me to Richard. I used to know Richard through a lot of the JKD seminars that I attended over the years with Ted Wong when we were studying JKD, and Richard went on to be a full JKD instructor over the last 20 years. So not only is he a Bruce Lee collector and historian, but he teaches JKD and is a Bruce Lee instructor. And for those of you who visited Richard Torres' home with us, Hector and myself, you guys know he featured 3 beautiful Bruce Lee rooms loaded with books, magazines, figures, personal items, business cards, membership cards from Bruce Lee. The guy is just a massive collector, and I want to thank Richard today for allowing us to come into his home and share his collection with us. So thank you, Richard, and big shout out to you. Another person I want to give a shout out to is Harry Mackenzie out of South Carolina, another Bruce Lee collector who I know now over 20 years. It's amazing how many great friends you make through the wonderful world of Bruce Lee collecting. But Harry was kind enough to share with us his entire collection, and he was one of the first collectors that actually sent over 50-60 items, and we did a full feature on his collection. So thank you, Harry Mackenzie out of South Carolina. Next, we move on to Louis Cotto. I want to thank him. He's been a loyal fan and follower of the show. Louis also shared his entire collection with us. He's not only a collector, but he's a neighbor of mine outside of Connecticut, back east. So Louis, what's up, man? And he shared his top 10 collectibles with us, Bruce Lee collection with us. So thank you very much, Louis, for doing that, and big shout out to you. Moving on to our overseas collectors. And when I started this channel, it's amazing how many collectors I've met over the years and became friends with over this last year and a half, 2-year period. And our overseas collectors are just very special. They're very loyal to Bruce Lee. There's a big following out there, and I want to start with Bruce Lee collector Dave Love out of the UK. Dave has shared numerous collectibles with us, from his top 10 figure collection to his top 10 DVD collection to his entire collection. So Dave, thank you, man. And I know we have another couple of feature episodes on you. I'm working on your vintage movie poster episode coming up soon. So Dave, thank you for always being supportive and loyal to the show as well. Moving on to Kevin McNeish out of Scotland. Kevin not only shared his collection with us, but he did it in a unique way. He actually sent me a 3 or 4 minute video of him talking through his Bruce Lee items that he had in his Bruce Lee room. So thank you for that, Kevin. Thank you for following the show and sharing your collection with us as well. And then I want to move on to Peter Reynolds, another Bruce Lee collector out of Scotland. Thank you, Peter, for sharing your collection with us and your top 10 magazines with us. And I know we have another feature on you coming up as well. So thank you, Peter, once again for all your support and loyalty to the show. Moving on to my good buddy and East Coast collector, John Negron out of North Carolina. Now, John made me aware that he was one of the people with myself, Hector Martinez, Richard Torres, because we're all from back east, that used to scour New York City's Chinatown back in the 70s. And I emailed him the other day and I let him know, I said, man, wouldn't it have been cool if we kind of bumped into each other back then? Little did we know that, you know, 40 years later, we would all be sharing our collections on the Bruce Lee Collection YouTube channel. So John, thank you again. We did a beautiful Brandon Lee tribute special on you. For those who missed it, I'll share it in the link below. John was kind enough to share his top 10 Green Hornet collectibles with us, his top 10 Bruce Lee collectibles with us, and we have a lot more exciting features from John in year 2. So John, big shout out to you, man. Thank you so much. Then we move on to Steve Palmer, who introduced probably the ultimate and the rarest collectibles that we've seen on the show thus far, from autographs, personal checks of Bruce Lee, the first book that Bruce Lee has written, and a lot more other fun items. And if you missed that one, I'll also feature that episode on the link above. So then I move on to another East Coast collector who I've become friends with over the last year. His name is Andy Bevell, another one out of New York City, and Andy shared with us his beautiful figure collection, and he specializes in figures, especially the Foshan statue collections of Bruce Lee that came out in the early 70s, and I know he only needs a few more to complete his collection. And thank you, Andy, that was amazing episode we did on your collection. It's beautiful, and it's been a blessing finding you and having you in our lives, because you always give kind words on the comments, and it's so nice knowing you now as a friend. So thank you once again, Andy. Moving on to our youngest Bruce Lee collector, I want to give a shout out and thank you to Tom Eves. He was the youngest collector we featured on the show. He's only 23 years old, started when he was 5, and he shared with us his entire Bruce Lee collection, and it's an amazing collection, and we're now going to feature his top 10 collectibles in year 2, so a lot to look forward to. Tom, thank you very much, man, for sharing that collection with us. Moving on to one of the largest Bruce Lee collections that I've ever seen. This guy comes out of Spain. I want to thank Jesus Bajo Esteban for sharing his collection with us. We did a great 2-part series on his collection because it was so large, and each episode was well over 20 minutes because he shared so many wonderful Bruce Lee collectibles with all of us to enjoy. Thank you, Jesus. Moving on to another collector from the United Kingdom, Adrian Scott, who was more a Brandon Lee collector, but when you're a Brandon Lee collector, you can't stay away from Bruce Lee collecting. And Adrian was nice enough to share with us not only his wonderful Brandon Lee collection, but his Bruce Lee collection as well. We did a great episode on Adrian, and we're about to do another episode on his top 10 Brandon Lee and top 10 Bruce Lee collectibles in his collection that mean the most to him. So Adrian, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much. Again, I don't want to miss Steve Wallen, who recently we saw his beautiful Bruce Lee painting collection. I've picked up 4 beautiful Bruce Lee paintings over the years that Steve Walling has painted for me. He specializes in Bruce Lee painting. He's an amazing artist out of California. He's met a lot of Bruce Lee first generation students, cast members of Enter the Dragon, a lot of family members of Bruce Lee. Steve has a wealth of knowledge, is a Bruce Lee historian, and does wonderful work. So Steve, thank you for sharing that wonderful Bruce Lee paintings with us in that episode. Appreciate it, man. Big shout out to you, and I can't wait to do our interview together. That's up next for year 2. So again, last but not least, I want to thank all of you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, the fans, the collectors, and the supporters of this show, we would never get to where we were right now, which is 1,000 subscribers. And I like to share the new goal with you for year 2. It's to get to 5,000 subscribers. And I know we can do it with your support, your help, your appreciation, and your loyalty to everything we've been doing on the show thus far. So in part 2 of this episode, after giving those nice shout outs to the Bruce Lee collectors who were featured on the channel throughout the last year, what's next for the Bruce Lee collection? Where do we go from here? So let's talk about that briefly. So as you guys know, the goal next is to get to 5,000 subscribers, because the more subscribers we get to, the more that each of us can help perpetuate and preserve not only the image and spirit of Bruce Lee, but also the legacy of Bruce Lee. And it's all of us working together through the wonderful world of collecting that continues to do that. So thank you guys for that. And again, I'll continue personally. The first thing you'll see in year 2 is I'm going to continue to share my rare Bruce Lee collectibles with you guys. I'm going to pull out some really rare items this second year, some of my autographs on Bruce Lee, some of my vintage lobby cards, press kits, movie stills that are original from the 70s, original movie posters that I picked up. So I have a lot more that I'm going to share with you guys through the second year personally. And then I know, and I'm sure that the collectors that were also featured on the show over this last year have a plethora of Bruce Lee memorabilia that they want to share with you guys, the fans and collectors. And a lot of you guys have already reached out to me, giving me suggestions on what they want to now feature from your collection. So we'll continue to see our existing collectors feature different parts of their collection on the show as well. We're going to continue with our top 10 series. We started that kind of midway through the year, where we started doing top 10 Bruce Lee collectibles, top 10 Green Hornet collectibles, top 10 Brandon Lee collectibles, top 10 most rare collectibles, top 10 collectibles of what mean the most for you in your collection, and the list goes on and on. Top 10 movie posters, and we're going to continue with this. It's a fun series, and it's a way to narrow down collections to what are those more specific top 10 collectibles that mean the most to each individual collector. And it's always fun to see what those are all about. So we'll continue with that. We're also going to continue to feature new collectors on the show, because my inbox has been overwhelming with the amount of response we're getting for new collectors who've joined the channel, who now want to share their collections with us. And the beautiful thing about that is that we as collectors and fans get a chance to see collectibles from around the world that we may never have known even existed. And that's the fun thing about collecting, man. We all have this common bond. We all share collectibles on Bruce Lee through the channel, and it gives us a chance to showcase those collectibles in many different ways. Whether we pull them out of our drawers, our closets, our cabinets, we get a chance to see how we display our collectibles. We gain ideas and insights from people. So the content you will continue to see on this show will continue to grow, continue to expand, and will continue to bring you the best in Bruce Lee collecting. Number 5, what we'll be doing is we're going to continue to feature our quarterly Bruce Lee giveaways. We did one about 2 months ago. It was very successful. You guys were very excited. When asked how often would you like to see these giveaways, we decided that quarterly would be great. So the next giveaway that I have lined up is going to take place sometime in July. And again, I'm going to be giving away some really cool vintage Bruce Lee items. So stay tuned for these giveaways, and we're going to do them quarterly, and we're going to try to target different dates. We'll run one around Bruce Lee's birthday, one around Brandon Lee's birthday, and we'll make these episodes eventful and sharing in the birthdays of Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee, at the same time have some fun and giving away items and sharing the channel with other people and collectors on Facebooks and Twitter through the giveaways. So thank you once again, guys, for making that first contest really successful, and that was a fun one. And then again, we're going to continue to ask you guys for suggestions and input and ideas, because it's you guys who really make the difference in the success of this channel. It's giving you the content that you want to see. So continue to comment, continue to write in, and let me know what you like to see on the show, and I'll try my best to focus on that and showcase that in future episodes. So continue to send in those suggestions, continue to send in those ideas, and continue to email me. You could find my email in the description below at cdbrlee@aol.com. So looking forward to hearing from you in future shows on what you want to see featured on the channel. So a lot of exciting things lined up, guys. Let's all remember that we all play a part in continuing to preserve, perpetuate the image, spirit, and legacy of Bruce Lee through the wonderful world of collecting, and hopefully through the Bruce Lee Collection channel. So let's continue, move on together, share the collections, come up with great ideas, great suggestions. And I want to end once again by thanking you guys all from the bottom of my heart for your appreciation, support, and loyalty for the channel. Like I said, we're probably at 1,010 subscribers now, and the subscriber base keeps growing thanks to fans like you who continue to like, share, and comment on the videos and continue to spread the word of Bruce Lee through the wonderful world of Bruce Lee collecting. So once again, thank you. I'm going to sign off now. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful outdoor area here. And once again, thank you guys for your continued support, for following me and Charles Damiano from the Bruce Lee Collection. From the bottom of my heart, saying I'm grateful for you guys, grateful for your continued support to the channel. And as always, man, let's have fun collecting and continue to share with one another. Peace out, guys. I want to wish you guys well. Be safe, be happy, and have fun collecting. Take care, guys. See you this coming Friday. Don't miss the episode.